In today's video, instead of discussing something fun, we're venturing into one of those unfun topics that pop up: warranty work. One unfun aspect of the world we live in is no product is perfect 100% of the time. We're all human after all. Most of the time, you don't run into an issue until your collection is healthy, shall we say, unless you're someone who, if it weren't for bad luck, you'd have no luck at all, and you have a problem with your first or your only firearm. It's never fun to have a problem, but if you're watching this video after having a problem, you know it's not the end of the world. In the digital world we live in, it's often easy to forget people with problems are the most vocal. Almost everyone with a problem will go out of their way to make sure you know how bad it was, while almost nobody with a good experience makes it known. To help with our discussion on warranties, I'm going to briefly discuss three different fairly recent instances where we've had to send a firearm in for warranty work, along with the outcome. Our regular viewers, who we appreciate greatly, will know we've recently had a couple firearms fixed under warranty. The most recent of those was our Smith & Wesson EZ 9mm. The pistol looked great, passed the function checks at the store counter, but during the first magazine through the firearm, it became obvious that the trigger was not working as intended. Sometimes it would drop the hammer, but most of the time, nay. You could pull the trigger multiple times and nothing. Then try one more time and bang. Smith & Wesson had me send the firearm in. I was quoted 6 to 8 weeks for the fix. Smith & Wesson repaired the firearm and had it back to me in 10 days. The work order included in the box noted they replaced the trigger bar. We've shot the pistol a few times at the range since, and so far it has worked as expected. Smith & Wesson paid for shipping both ways and repaired the pistol under warranty at no cost. Another firearm we recently sent in for warranty work was our Taurus 327. In the spring, while filming a video, the yoke screw and plunger went AWOL. This caused the cylinder to detach from the revolver when I went to eject spent brass. I was able to find the yoke screw, but not the plunger and spring. This seemed like the type of thing we'd be able to just have the part sent to us, but nay. Taurus wanted to do the work. Similar to the Smith & Wesson, they paid for shipping, and in similar fashion, we were quoted 6 to 8 weeks. The outcome with the 327 was quite a bit different. Instead of just installing the part and sending it back, Taurus ended up replacing the entire firearm. They said when checking the firearm, they found a defect that necessitated replacement. My gut says they had a batch of pistols where they discovered a manufacturing flaw on a serialized part where it couldn't be fixed by just replacing a spring or a pin. We were sent a brand new 327, which took approximately 10 weeks, which was a little longer than quoted, but given the current geopolitical climate, was probably faster than expected. While Taurus paid for shipping and replaced the firearm at no cost, we did have to pay a FFL transfer fee for the new gun, which was inconvenient, but at least we got a new firearm. We've shot the 327 a few times since, and so far, it too is working as a well-oiled clock. Not quite as recently, but not long ago, I had an issue with a Kimber Elite Ultra. That 1911 had a serious case of the raspberries. You couldn't get through a single magazine without at least one jam. It didn't matter what ammo or magazine you tried. Eventually, I reached out to Kimber, who had me send it in. Again, I was quoted 6 to 8 weeks for the turnaround. Kimber reamed the chamber and polished the barrel. They had the pistol back to me in less than 5 days. I sent it out on a Monday and had it back Friday morning. That pistol was also returned to us in proper working order. That's 3 different fairly recent interactions across 3 different brands where we had to send the firearm in to the manufacturer, and I'd call the warranty interaction a success. In one instance, we received a brand new firearm. In the others, the firearms were fixed and as reliable as expected. Outside of those 3 interactions, there have been more than a few times I've engaged a manufacturer for warranty support, had the option to send the firearm in, but also had the option to instead have the parts needed sent to me for a self-fix. For example, I broke or lost springs for my CZ and Ruger pistols and had replacement parts arrive in less than a week at no cost. if you have a firearm where a part breaks or you lose a part, or maybe the firearm is irreliable or some other issue, don't be afraid to use the warranty. And don't just assume your issue is not covered by the warranty or that your warranty is expired. I don't recall ever having an instance where a company has denied me warranty support. I'd go as far as to say, in most of these instances, I was technically outside the covered period. I find you have the best odds of a positive outcome if you use the ancient phone call method and are polite and friendly on the phone, even when you don't want to be. In today's digital world, it's tempting to rely upon email, but your odds of a successful positive outcome are much higher, in my experience, when calling in. I've lost parts while working on firearms, trigger springs, sear springs. Usually it's some small part that likes to fly off into the void, and had the manufacturer send me multiple replacements for free under warranty. I've lost parts while shooting, like say the loaded chamber indicator on my CZ97B, and had them send me multiple replacements under warranty, again for free. In the case of the 97B, with that now being discontinued, having multiple replacement parts for a part that is prone to go AWOL, that's a huge bonus. I've had magazines sent to me, not the junk mail kind, but the kind that go in pistols, for free under warranty when things like the hold open on empty don't work. Here's looking at you, day one Ruger LCP Max magazine. Being polite and at least slightly friendly on the phone goes a long way. Here's a few other notes on if you do have to send a firearm in. These may vary depending on where you live. Where I live, some call it heaven, but those of us that live here call it Iowa. You can send a firearm in you own to the manufacturer without having to go through an FFL. If they are sending the same firearm back, they can ship it to you, and you don't have to go through an FFL. If they have replaced the firearm with a new firearm, well, then you do have to go through an FFL and do a transfer paperwork. When sending in a firearm, you can put the firearm in its original box, but put that box in another box, like say the box you just got from Amazon Prime. You don't want random people to know a firearm is in the box just by looking at it. Different shippers have different rules. For example, for FedEx, I have to drop things off at a special location that handles dangerous materials. But for UPS, I'm able to schedule a driver to pick it up. At least where I live, neither FedEx nor UPS will let you drop them off at a franchise store. Unless the manufacturer says otherwise, usually you don't include anything extra like magazines in the box. Now, some people want to be very involved with their fix. I suspect usually these are low level managers who spend most of their day babysitting employees who are perfectly capable of working without micromanagement, but I digress. Once you hang up the phone or in the email chain and have dropped your firearm in the mail, your involvement in the process pretty much ends. They're not going to call or email you every step of the way. You're not going to get status updates. The only communication you're likely to get is an email from the shipper when your firearm is on the way back, unless they're replacing the firearm, in which case you probably find out when your FFL calls to let you know a new firearm has arrived for pickup. It's the nature of the beast. Gunsmiths are not customer service agents. They don't spend their day making phone calls and sending emails. If they did, the quoted fixed time would be 6 to 8 months instead of 6 to 8 weeks. Is that good customer service? No, not really, but it is what it is. The final note on warranty work has to do with aftermarket parts. Some manufacturers won't warranty fix a problem if you have installed aftermarket parts related to the problem. Sights and grips are one thing, but for example, let's say your trigger doesn't work and you have an aftermarket trigger, that could be a problem. Some manufacturers, like Ruger, might look at and fix the problem, but when sending the firearm back, it will be in the stock configuration with your aftermarket parts in a bag in the box. Don't be surprised if you have to pay for the fix if you have aftermarket parts. Do you have any tips or tricks to help ensure a positive warranty outcome besides being friends with someone that works there? If so, let us know in the comments. And anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, like the video, share it with your friends and family. Those things are free and they help the channel greatly. If you'd like to help us make more of these videos, look into becoming a member. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice night. when you try to pet a cork without biscuit ditties. What? What if I just want to pet a cork? What if I just want to pet a cork? Okay, I'll get you Fritos.